Continuing Rishon and Dalet, Steve Dalet was a share in Shir 12. Last week, the second half of the share we spoke about that if Steve Bay spoke about that if you put something Eitzel Aish or Ala Aish, Machlekes Mechavan the Ramah, if you put something on the fire or next to the fire, it shows that you don't care if it's going to get burnt. So then there's a heter that if it reached Michel ben Deresoi, then it's mutter. Even according to Mechavan Rishon and Gimel, who held Michel ben Deresoi is never a heter to leave something al aish in a pot. But if it's something that you put on the fire directly, according to the Mechaber, or according to the Ramah, next to the fire, once it reaches Michel ben Deresoi, it's mutter because you're not going to touch it anymore. Because if you're going to stir the coals, it's going to burn it. But there's a chumrah, on the other side there's a chumrah, that if it's on the coals, you never have a heter of chai and it's a bishul v'le-bishul. Because it's showing you don't care if it gets burnt. But once it's Michel ben Deresoi, you're going to leave it. So we had a machlokes, you have to remember this machlokes Mechaber and the Ramah, that the Ramah we didn't see mefurish here, but we'll see it in a few places later on. But if you put something according to the Mechaber on the fire, and it's K'malcha ben Deresoi, it's before Shabbos, it's mutter. According to the Ramah, we put it next to the fire, and it's already K'malcha ben Deresoi, it's mutter. Right? That's what we had last week. So now Sif Dalet says, Perish and Achol and Chayim, Perish that can be eaten raw. So the cloud is going to be in this Sif, is that something that could be eaten raw, right away it gets to the status of Michel ben Deresoi. Even though you didn't start cooking it at all, it starts off with a Michel ben Deresoi status. Because you can eat it the way it is. You can eat it raw. So Perish and Achol and Chayim, Mutter Litnam Savav HaKadeira, you're allowed to put it around the pot before Shabbos. Even though before it gets dark, it's not possible for it to get roasted. Doesn't make a difference. You're allowed to put it there because it's already like Michel ben Deresoi. You have to be careful. You shouldn't put on the cover to the pot. And here, well, exactly what the case is. You look at the Mishbur, he speaks about it. That there was a cover on the pot that covered also these peiros they put around it. Yeah. So when you cover the pot, even though it's mutter to leave it there before Shabbos, but when you're covering it, what you're doing is you're helping it cook quicker. So then you have to be careful. So even though you're allowed to put the peiros there, the fruit over there around the pot before Shabbos, even though it's not K'malcha ben Deresoi yet, it's chai, but there's a heter because peiros that could be eaten raw have a din like they are Michel ben Deresoi. But be careful, you should return the cover of the pot in the zgala if it uncovered, when it got dark. Not to add more coverings to it, until it gets fully cooked. If you cover it while the fruits aren't fully cooked yet, what you're doing is you're making it cook quicker, and that's awesome. And this is a very important halacha, the second half of this Mechaber. Because if you have a blech on Shabbos, so that keeps something on the fire, even according to the Mechaber, bashal v'le bashal, it's not fully cooked, not even K'malcha ben Deresoi, if you have a blech, it's mutter to keep it on the blech on Shabbos. But you have to be very careful, because even though you're allowed to leave it on the fire, but you're not allowed to make it cook quicker. So if you uncover the pot, you're not allowed to recover it. That's a big problem. Mm-hmm. Maybe even if you open the door to the oven and you want to close it again, it could be an issue. The food is not fully cooked. Anything that helps make the food cook quicker is an issue d'oraisa of bishul. Anything we spoke about in Rishon and Gimel was a heter to leave it on the fire without touching it. And once it comes, they're doing an act that's going to make it cook quicker. That's where it's a d'oraisa of bishul. So if you have a child on the fire Friday night on the blach, and it's not fully cooked, and you want to take cholent Friday night, it's a big problem. Because what happens is you uncover the thing and you recover the pot, That's also. That's the second half of the sieve. But the first half of the sieve,
this is Dafka Alaish. I mean, Garf the Katum, you don't have that problem.
Why? It's still hot. Don't forget, Garf or Katum doesn't mean that there's no heat anymore. It's still very hot. So it's possible to still cook the food. The food is still cooking. So if you cover it...
Hot comes from the coal. If there's no coal, how can they hot?
No, Garf or Katum means there is something left. You cover it. How blacks are Garf or Katum?
No coal, really. It's just the...
No, if you cover the coal is still hot.
Oh.
They can still be hot. Especially our blacks. Especially our blacks today, that even though it's called Garf or Katum, there's still plenty of heat. You can cook something on there. So for that you have to be careful.
So what are we saying? You cannot take cholent from the food from the pot on the blech?
Correct, unless it's the special called tzarcha. Correct. You know, I'll take cholent.
But if you don't recover it, you can take it.
No, even if it's sticking a spoon is a problem.
Well, then you're going to get into
Then
hagasa.
you're kind of
Right, it's a worse, it's a bigger problem.
Right.
Hagasa
But
could be.
hagasa could be at any point.
Hagasa could be right in special called tzarcha. Yeah, we'll see a shinyat ches.
Right. So I'm saying
But let's just say there's no problem hagasa. Let's say there won't be a problem hagasa. Let's say the spoon is not called hagasa.
Okay.
But still, it still helps to cook. Hagasa is a different thing, mixing it.
Right.
Some people say taking out with the spoon is not called hagasa. We'll see in shinyat ches. But definitely, if it's not, and hagasa is even after it's fully cooked, is an issue of hagasa. Hagasa is even a problem after it's fully cooked. We'll see in shinyat ches.
It's the sound of the upper.
Yeah, we'll see in shinyat ches why. It could be hagasa is a problem even after it's fully cooked. But
okay, but here in our case, if you want to help yourself to the cholent on Friday night,
right,
it's problematic. Right?
if it's not fully cooked, it's very problematic. Yes.
Say if it was mistamak for Ralo before.
No, even mistamak b'yafaloi. Mistamak b'yafaloi is fine.
Yeah.
It's not hagasa. As long as it's fully cooked.
Yeah, okay.
As long as it's fully cooked, even though it's mistamak b'yafaloi, it's no issa bishul. Hagasa there may be an issa, but bishul is no issa.
Why? Because in this rock bishul?
No, it's cooked. Yeah. Once it's cooked, it's cooked. Mistamak b'yafaloi is not issa bishul. Mistamak b'yafaloi is only a problem of chitu in the column you had in Rishon Gimel.
Right. So I mean, so if you so what's the issue? If the issue is chitui, then you have a blech.
Yeah. No issue of chitu. There's no issue. Why? By hagasa you're talking about?
No. Let's leave hagasa out of it. Let's talk the cholent pot. You want to take Friday night. You want to cover just our halacha.
So you take. So if it's fully cooked, no problem. If it's fully cooked, even if it's mistamak b'yafaloi, it's not a problem.
According to
Because putting the lid back on is not a din of bishul.
It's not bishul, no. Mistamak b'yafaloi is fine. Once it's cooked, there's no issa bishul. There's no issa bishul. Hagasa we'll speak about later on.
Yeah.
But a regular bishul is no issa bishul.
this putting the lid back on does not create much of hevel?
And therefore, so what are you doing? It's already cooked.
It's already cooked.
You can't take it and throw it directly on the fire.
For a different reason, because of hagasa. That was Shinyat ches.
So as long as you meet the Tanai Chazara, then you're okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you understand, it has to be. Why would you be taking the food on the? Why would you be taking?
It's not fully cooked.
Yeah.
So I'll give a perfect example. Someone put up potatoes before Shabbos. Everything else is cooked well. Potatoes aren't fully cooked.
You want to check it to taste it to see if you look at it. Then
You want it Friday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You put it on high, let's say.
Yeah.
So then you want to have a look.
If it's not fully cooked, yeah.
It's nice. It's very risky.
Yeah, you have to make sure it's fully
You
cooked.
better not look.
I remember they had to throw. They put chicken into the cholent, and the bones, the Shabbos morning are edible. There was a big problem because if the bones aren't fully cooked, it doesn't happen until the Shabbos morning. Then you can't recover the pot.
So everything has to be.
Everything has to be fully cooked. If you recover the pot, and something inside the pot is not fully cooked, it's a bishul.
Okay, so, but again, most people, let's work with the person who's doing it because not for checking purposes. They know that they want to have cholent.
Yeah, so it's fully cooked. Then it's fine.
Then it's permissible.
Then you're okay. You may have to take it off the fire because of hagasa, but there's no problem of bishul anymore. Covering the pot when it's not fully cooked is bishul. When it's fully cooked, even though it's tamak v'yafaloi, there's not a problem of bishul anymore. So here the Michel says, even though I'm mati to put the peiros around the pot, Erev Shabbos, even though it's not cooked, be careful not to recover the pot because it's going to be over on bishul. Look in the Magen Avraham, Yud Beis, Sav Vagdera, Pirish, Samach L'Gechal. This Magen Avraham is very important, because especially for the Sfardim. We'll see in a second why. Samach V'Kedera, Pirish, Samach L'Gechalim.
I'm with you.
We just said over here that Pirish you're allowed to put Erev Shabbos, even though it's not cooked at all. Why? Because it's called Machal Ben Desoy. If you look in the Magen Avraham Yud Gimel, Apa Pish I Avshiv, the Chashivi Kimoi She Says Bashlo, I can't read the word. The Chashivik Moshe says Bashlo Kimachal Ben Desoy. Peiros are automatically considered like Machal Ben Desoy. Therefore, you're allowed to put the Peiros Erev Shabbos right by his man, even though it's not cooked. It's considered like Machal Ben Desoy. So therefore, what's the heter? In Reish and Gimel, we had a machlokes Mechaber and Ramah. The Mechaber paskind that we go to Chumrah, like the Rabbanan. So you have to have mitzvah v'rala in order to keep it next to the fire. Don't forget, this thing is not Gorav V'Kotum. According to the Mechaber, what's the heter over here? Even though Peiros are considered K'Machal Ben Desoy, what's the heter? Machal Ben Desoy, according to the Mechaber, is not mutter. You have to have a special called Tzachar and Tamik V'Raloi if it's not Gorav V'Kotum. So what's the heter over here by Peiros? Says the Magen Avraham, Sava V'Hagdera, Pirish, Samach L'Gechalim. Samach L'Gechalim is the heter in Siv Beis, that the Mechaber is Michel, also, if it's Samach L'Gechalim, even according to the Mechaber, Machal Ben Desoy is mutter. So that's what the Magen Avraham learns. Pirish, Samach L'Gechalim, the Imloikein, Asur L'Harif V'Siyaitoi. According to the Rif, V'Siyaitoi, and the people who go with him, Moshe Kosev and Rabbi Sesef, the simulation of Gimel. The same simulation of Dalet, the Ayin Siv So the Magen Avraham says the heter over here in Siv Dalet is the same heter as Siv Beis. You put it next to the Gecholim, it's mutter, even according to the Mechaber, once it reaches Machal Ben Desoy, and Peiros are as if they reached Machal Ben Desoy. Sifat Gimel, we'll get to the other fitness in a second. Sifat Gimel. Al Pishi Yefsher, the Chshivik Moshe is Pasal K'Machal Ben Desoy. The Rei Ruyan L'Oichlan Chayim. It's right to eat raw. You can eat it raw. For the Domi L'Botzel B'Siv Beis, it's not the same thing as Botzel in Siv Beis. He said B'Tzolim in Siv Beis ain't Tzol L'Botzel L'Beya until they reach Machal Ben Desoy. Why does it Botzel? Why onions have to reach Machal Ben Desoy? Onions can also be eaten raw. So it's not the same thing. Sometimes they eat onions raw. It's not as good to eat raw as apples, so we don't give it a din of Machal Ben Desoy. The tapuche which is sour apples. So the Magen Avraham makes a difference. Siv Beis is talking about onions and things that could be eaten raw, but usually they're not eaten raw. So we don't give them the status of Machal Ben Desoy when they're raw. Other peiros, which could be eaten raw without a problem, and the same thing will be vegetables. They have a din of Machal Ben Desoy even when they're raw. So you have a big kula here. If someone wants to put raw vegetables in the oven, like by his man, it's not a problem. Because raw vegetables have a din of Machal Ben Desoy. But this is only according to the Ramah. According to Machal Ben Desoy is not heter.
Raw fruit.
Even raw vegetables they eat raw. Peppers or
Okay. So when the Mechaber said in the Magen Avraham in Reish and Gimel, the beginning said that putting kidra chayta does not apply to vegetables. He's talking about what kind of vegetables.
Vegetables that cannot eat raw.
Cannot be eaten raw.
Right. And it's even more. There, even if the vegetable could be eaten raw. No, sorry. There, even if it could be eaten raw, because you want to be matter the rest of the pot. There is
talking just could be separate.
No, separate is fine. You want to add. You can't add a raw vegetable to a pot that's not cooked. It's not cooked there. It's not going to help you.
Right, but can you does the heter of kidra chayta apply to a vegetable? That's what the Magen Avraham.
It doesn't apply to a vegetable. Kidra chayta won't. Right, but a vegetable has been to Machal Ben Desoy. A vegetable you could eat raw. has din of Michel ben Desoy.
So if it could be raw, then it should be mutter.
Only according to the Ramah. According to the Mechaber, you need the special Kotzach and Stamach for Alay.
Right, like the whole like
Right.
Right.
Only according to the Ramah. Here it's different. The Ramah says over here, because it's like Siv Beis, where you put it next to the fire, Samach La'esh, you have a heter of.
That's not the Ramah, that's the Magen Avraham. That's the Magen Avraham, not the Ramah.
Right, it's the Magen Avraham.
Yeah.
The Magen Avraham said that the heter of Siv Dalet is because you're putting it next to the fire. We saw in Siv Beis, anything you put next to the fire, once it's Michel ben Desoy, even according to the Mechaber, it's mutter. Right? If it's put in Eitz Eloish, next to the fire, or according to the Mechaber, it has to be on the fire, whatever it is, there's a heter. Why? Because now, once it's Michel ben Desoy, you're not going to touch it anymore. Because it's going to get burnt. So the Ramah learned, the Magen Avraham learns Siv Dalet, that it's the same heter as Siv Beis. But the Sfardim arrive from this Siv Dalet, that the Mechaber Paskins like Chananya. If you look at our Sfardim Shapoiskim, they're being arrived from this Siv Dalet. That the Mechaber Paskins like Chananya, because it says Peiros Shenachol Chayim is mutter. What's the heter? Because it's Michel ben Desoy. Michel ben Desoy is only heter according to Chananya. So according to the Magen Avraham, there's no raya. The Mechaber is talking about a certain case where it's Eitz Eloish or Samach La'esh, that's why it's mutter. If you look in the Gra argues in the Magen Avraham, and he learned Sif Dalet is Chananya. And that's where the Sfardim get their Kula from, their Mekel, with Chananya, because of the Gra. If you look in the Gra, Sif Dalet, Paris. See it? The Veramaskel Paris, Sif Dalet. Kivin she'ru'uyin la'achlan chayim, since it's roy to eat raw, loy goram and Michel ben Desoy, it's not worse than Michel ben Desoy. Who is this? Toisvis. Memches Amar Aleph, the Maskel the Zaysim, Ulishitasam, and it's according to his Shita, the Achar Michel ben Desoy Shari. After Michel ben Desoy, it's mutter. This is not like the Rif in the Rambam. This is Rashi and Tais, the passing like the Rabbana, like Hananya. So the Goyin is learning Siv Dalet, the heter for Siv Dalet is because of Hananya. And the reason why he's learning that way is because the Magen Avraham happens to be a Chiddush. It doesn't say Siv Dalet, Peshin, Echol Chayim, Mutter Linus Avagdela, She'etz Eloish. Doesn't say that. But Amachalik, the Magen Avraham is saying we're talking about a case of Eitz Eloish next to the fire. Why is the Magen Avraham saying that? Because if not, he has a Spiro. The Mechaber over here paskins like Chananya. The Mechaber in Simin, Rishon Gemel, paskins like the Rabbanon. Stam v'yesh is Allah Kastam. So then in Rishon Gemel he paskins like the Rabbanon. He paskins like Chananya. The Gra wasn't bothered by that kasha, and he says over here the Mechaber is Sosim Kir Chananya. So that's what the Sfardim say that in Simulation Dalet, the Mechaber is Sosim like Chananya, they're going with the Gra, not with the Magen Avraham. Okay, Sivka in your Dalet, Shemar Ligmar, Vakolshkin She'osu Anichem B'Shabbos Samach L'Taner. For sure you can't put it on Shabbos next to the Tanner. After the Kodim Shehusak, even before the fire went on, like we had in the end of Rishon Gimel, that since it's going to go on, it's like Echad Noisin Eto Gedera, Echad Noisin Eto Eish, which is awesome. Fine, that's Sif Dalet. Sif Hey. Ein Noisnin, Samach L'Chashecha, past the Tanner. You're not allowed to put bread in a tanner. Ela kadesh yikrimu panav. So what does yikrimu mean? Pirshiyala apnei alachem, which will come onto the face of the bread. Krum. But klipa machmas eish, which we call it crust. The bread crusted. Which side? So now when you put the bread, in the olden days, bread was stuck onto the walls. So there's something called the side that's against the wall, and something called the side connected to eish. Now that connected to machlok is a big technical machlok, which one happens first, the one next to the fire, the one against the wall. We're going to go now that the Mechaber, like the Magen Avraham learns the Mechaber, that as long as one side becomes crusted, it's already like Michel ben Desoy and it's mutter. It's already like Michel ben Desoy and it's mutter. Now, why is Michel ben Desoy mutter? weiter. You have the same machlokes in Ramah, Magen Avram, and the Gra. Either because the mechaber is soisim, the machaber ben the soy is enough, like Hananya, or because this is called Eitz Eloish. You have the same machlokes in Sifei. So ein leis mit samach lechashech pas matan elakadesh yikrim upanov ham debakim bitaner. The side that's stuck onto the wall, that side gets crusted quicker. As long as that side got crusted, it says it didn't like machaber ben the soy. So lo charara agabe gechalim. You can't put charaz like a cookie, agabe gechalim on top of the coals. Elakadesh yikrim upaneh shekeneged eish. Till the side that's crusted, that's on the fire, which happens first. So look at the Magen Avram, Tezvav. Panav HaMedubakim, nearly the Svirulei, the Zeh Yechiel Bekal Meskarim. The side that's next to that's against the wall, it's quicker to become crusted. The Svirulei, the Mechaber holds, the Be'ezay Tzad Shem Meskarim, any side that becomes crusted, Sagi is enough. By the cookie also it's enough. Kishiyikim Mupaneh Shekeneged Eish. The one that's next to the fire, the Sham Shita, because over there it's Pashit, She'atzad, Shekeneged Eish, Mitzkarim Rishon. That one becomes crusted first. Va'ayim b'Ramazim, the Timtzer, Shedas HaTur, Ketanakama, the Tur holds like the Tanakama, Chamashikosim, Ataisis, Lebesh Rashi, which is also this Shita, the Be'ezei Tzad, Sheyichra and Sagi, whichever side becomes crusted first is enough. Ayin Sham, V'duk, V'chein Das Rambam. So the Magen Avram is telling you basically the Mechaber Paskins that as long as one side becomes crusted, it's enough.
Why does he? Is there a reason to make a community between Aurora and Pas?
They're cooked, they're baked differently. One's on the Cholam Mamish, one's stuck onto the wall.
Oh, that's okay.
That's the only difference. So the bread is the side that's stuck to the wall.
And the
Chorah side is on the fire. It's sitting on the fire. Hagar says the Ramah, v'cholcha poisa, any bread that when you break it, v'ein achut in the shachim, and there's no strings that come apart. We know when you take a bread that's not fully cooked, some strings in it. Kari cream is panim, that's enough. So the Ramah is telling you another way of checking. If cream is panim, if you take it and you break it and there's no strings there, that's the way it's called k'machal ben d'rosoi for sure. That's not a problem. Upashtida, a pladin, which is like a knish, one's fleishiks, one's milchiks. Sarach sheyikrem panav l'mayla u'lamata. Here you have to have the top and the bottom have to become crusted. V'yispashul masha b'teichel k'machal ben d'rosoi. And the food inside has to be cooked k'machal ben d'rosoi. Now here the Magen Avram has a kasha. Why all of a sudden over here they have to have both sides to have krimas panim crusted? Before we said one side's enough, and now all of a sudden you have to have both sides. That's the
because here you have something on the inside.
Oh, so that's the Magen Avram's kasha. Let's see the Magen Avram. L'maylu l'mata tzarchin. This is not like the Beisesif writes. The EU Svirulei. The Beisesif holds the Bekrimas Sad Echad Sagi. One side is enough. For Zaksafti Le'il. Like I wrote before, Im Kain Havalei Le'meimar V'yesh Oimrim. The Ramah should have written V'yesh Oimrim because it's coming to argue. And the Magen Avram stays Sarchin. The rest of the Magen Avram we'll see soon. But the Magen Avram stays here. It's his kasha and he blinds with a tzarech in. The Dagam Avava answers. We're looking at Dagam Avava. You probably have it in the bottom. In the Old Shulchan Aruch on the right side on top. You probably have the Eitzim Mefarshim in the bottom.
The side.
So says the Dagam Avava to answer the Magen Avram's kasha. Like kasha. According to me, I don't think it's a kasha at all. Nothing. The Gam Ramah Moida, the Sagi Rekrim is Sad Echad. Even the Ramah is masking to the Beis Yosef that one side is enough. The Pashtida, Chelak Elyon, Cholak Elyon min Pashtida. Sorry, Chelak Elyon min Pashtida, but Chelak Atachtain, Eine Gush Echad. It's not one solid thing. The Hav HaMol Yaisis HaBetoicha, the filling inside of it, Mafred Beineim. Hava kishnei ugais. It's like two separate cakes. So the kids what the Dagam Abba is saying very part of the teretz, that you're right, you need cream is one side. But if you have food in the middle, so each layer is considered its own thing. Therefore, you have to have, each layer has to have a krimas upon it. It has to be crusted. Fine. You can see the rest of the Dagam Abba yourself. It's very easy reading. That's the Dagam Abba's teretz. The Goyen gives a different teretz. So if we look at the Gra, Dibya Maschal Upashtida.
Yep.
And let's read you a few words there in the middle. Like a one line there by me. It says, Rota Loimar, B'fnei Sha'av, Ve'enei Mispashol Mahera. See those words?
Yeah.
They're going right in the Maskal Pashtida.
It's like one line below the Pashtida.
He says, Rota Loimar, B'fnei Sha'av, Ve'enei Mispashol Mahera. The Gross says a different teretz, the Pashtida. Any time it's thick, everyone agrees you have to have both sides to this farm. So they're not going with the Dagam of Abba's teretz. He's saying even a solid bread, which is very thick, and it's in the oven, you have to have creamas both parts, and both sides have to be crusted, because that's the only way the deep inside will get cooked.
Right.
Otherwise it will get baked. If you have a thin thing, so if one side is baked, so you say inside it's not raw at all. But if you have a thick thing, in order for the inside to get baked, that's royal achila, it's more machal ben derasai, it has to be both sides got crusted. So that's what he answers pashtidim. So basically, machal ben derasai by a bread is krimas panim, and if it's thick, you have to have krimas panim on both sides.
So bread here is more like pita than a loaf.
Yeah. Bread here, when the Mechaber says bread, it means more like a pita.
Lafa.
A lafa. Yeah. Our breads, they wouldn't bake that way. You can't slam our breads onto the side of the oven. They wouldn't hold. The way they used to bake bread was like the thick, like the lafas, and they would stick it out to the side of the oven.
They do that.
They do that today, yeah. So that's how they used to make their breads. They didn't have breads like we have today, the thick loaves.
Right.
They're more dietetic. So till now we spoke about what's called machal ben derasai by bread. Now the Mechaber is going to Honu Halacha. What happens if you did it be'isr? Which we spoke about in Rishon Gimel, and we'll see there's some chilukim over here, some differences in this halacha. Someone put it right before it got dark, and it didn't give it enough time to get to karmu paneim, which is machal ben derasai. And we know that's asur. Even chai is asur in this case, because anything that's mamahal is bashel, anything that cooks quickly, there's no heter of kidru chaysa. Bread cooks quickly; it's been cooked by the night. So if you put it in the oven before Shabbos, and it didn't reach krimas panim, which means machal ben derasai. So now we learned already in Simulation Gimel that we put something which is not guarded for kotum. Alright, this is the Magen Avraham here. Okay, we'll get back to it soon. If you put something that's not guarded for kotum into an oven, if you put something into an oven that's not guarded for kotum, the halacha is that if it's a special called tzarachai, according to the Mechaber, it's mutter because you're not being nana from it. But if it's Machal ben derasai, like the Ramah holds, that you have to reach Machal ben derasai, it didn't reach Machal ben derasai, it's asur. Here we're going to see it's different. And it didn't come Machal ben derasai. In b'mezid, asur Matzah Shabbos b'chadei sheyasu. If you didn't b'mezid, it's also till Matzah Shabbos b'chadei sheyasu, because it was over an isur of shehiyah. He did a shehiyah, the isura. He left it in the oven in a way that's asur. It wasn't Machal ben derasai yet. Now, in b'shoigig, if he did it b'shoigig, now we know in Rishon Gimel we said that even if it's b'shoigig, it's also asur till Matzah Shabbos. Here it's different. V'im b'shoigig im ein loy ma yochal mutar loy lirdos v'menu mazon shalosh sudas. He's allowed to take down to eat food for 3 sudas. And the reason for this is because he doesn't have what to eat. He doesn't have what to eat, and with Michel, we only cancel him, we give him a knas. B'shoigig, only if he has what to eat, we don't let him eat the food they did, it's a shia on. But here it's talking about he doesn't have what to eat.
So doesn't make a
difference. Even if he doesn't have what to eat, he can't take it off. B'shoigig, for Michel, if he doesn't have what to eat, he's allowed to take off Mazayin Shalosh Sudis.
So this is a halacha only by pas. No, but by Rishon and Gimel, you also had this idea, right? If a person did it, not did it, the goy, but we never brought up this idea.
Right. So the reason, because usually pas is what is the basic food that they had. The Chaim speak out of here. I'm not sure if the Magen Avraham does it or the Mishmur speaks it out. The same thing is if you put a pot in the oven.
But if you have nothing else, if you didn't...
If nothing else to eat, you're allowed to eat that food.
So I'm just saying, like, can you use this, so is this a required prerequisite, right, that you don't have food?
Yes.
As well?
100%.
So you use this back in Rishon and Gimel also?
Also, in Rishon and Gimel, if you don't have food, b'shoigig is mutter to be nana from the Ma'aser Shabbos.
So, right, we didn't say that before.
We didn't say that, right.
Right. So
this is here.
Applies to
this applies to Rishon and Gimel also.
So the obvious question is why
we didn't?
Why wait till
why wait till here?
To hear the answer to...
That's a good question. The answer is because usually bread was the basic. Bread was the basic. So by a pot of food, usually that was extras. So there was no heter. Usually everyone had bread, and then they made other tafshilim.
But also, is there an issue that there's a mitzvah to eat bread, like a mishnah? Or like
no, we'll see in a second. There's nothing to do with the mitzvah of lecha mishnah. Nothing to do with that. I mean, if someone doesn't have lecha mishnah, he can't go ahead and take off bread because they've been carrying the mitzvah of lecha mishnah.
If he has other food.
If he has other food.
Right.
Yeah. If someone has other food besides this bread,
even if you take off from the first bread enough for shalosh sudas, you can't take off for shalem.
Right. You can't take off shalem. We'll see. I think Magen Avraham brings that also. If you don't have lecha mishnah, it's not a heter here. Here the only heter is because you have to eat on Shabbos. You're not allowed to fast. So therefore you're allowed to take out 3 sudas, enough for 3 sudas to eat on Shabbos. And it's really this halacha the same as Rishon and Gimel. You put it in the oven before Shabbos. It's not gar for cotton. It's not ma'acha ben derasoi. So it's usher. Even b'shoigig, it's usher to eat that food. Here, the only heter is you're allowed to take off maza and gimel sudas because that's what you need to eat for Shabbos. That's the only heter here.
Okay. So bottom line, on Rishon and Gimel, if you don't have any other food in the house,
correct,
and you're living and you have no
correct.
neighbors, and
I don't know if neighbors is to rely on neighbors.
The extra,
like if you have,
no, I don't.
You have a to go to your neighbor.
No, I don't think so.
Knock on your parents' door.
No chiyuv to go to your neighbor.
The extra over and above the mazor and shalosh shudas that you can eat after Shabbos.
Yeah. After Shabbos, everything is mutter.
Right.
After Shabbos, everything is mutter. But on Shabbos, you're not allowed to eat it.
You have to wait Kadesh Yasa for the extra.
Yeah.
No, you did b'shogeg.
You have to be Kadesh Yasa. Even b'shogeg, you have to be Kadesh Yasa. No, I think so. That's what Semicha Gimel.
I thought that was the difference between Mez and Shogeg.
I don't remember.
One you can do right away, and the other one is Kadesh Yasa.
I don't remember. Check it up.
I think we also see later on by extinguishing a fire, you're allowed to do it all. If you don't have food for Shabbos.
So machlokes. The Sif Kol Lamed Beis in the Mishnah Baruch is machlokes about it. If b'shoigig, you have to be Kadesh Yasa.
How can you actually do this b'shogeg? I mean, is it you didn't know the rule? Is that it?
Yeah.
What about you miscalculate the time? And
you miscalculate the time. That's also be called a shogeg, maybe.
That's what I'm saying.
It was the Mezid.
Mezid, now that is. No, Mezid, everything is also. If Mezid, also about the Shabbos, if you have no food, you're not allowed to eat it.
So then you're fasting.
Then you're fasting. Then you go to the neighbor.
You take it from the freezer and you put it on your blood.
And you have to put it in the freezer.
One second. The Mishnah Baruch speaks out in Mefurish.
I don't know.
Why not? No, is it?
Okay, if you look at the Mishnah Baruch over here, Sif Kol Lamed Gimel. The Mishnah Baruch Sif Kol Lamed Gimel says b'shoigig it's mutter. Mishnah Baruch Sif Kol Lamed Gimel. Mr. Bruce says like this: B'shoigig v'hod like a tzinan gam b'shoigig. V'shekasa b'sif ches. Sif ches we'll see soon. It's the same thing as Reish and Gimel. To lemichal kinan sham b'shoigig l'meizah. The kivin the ein le pas achar lechol. He has no other bread to eat. V'iyef shel l'kayim mitzvahs Gimel sudas b'loi pas. Therefore it's mutter. Aval tafshul ein chiv kol kach lechol b'Shabbos. So he says like this: bread you have to eat on Shabbos. Lechem Mishnah maybe not. So Lechem Mishnah not going to make it. So if you have tafshil but you don't have bread, then you have a kula to take it down. You have no other food to eat at all. Ki im oiseh ha tafshil levad, a tafshil, not a bread, only a tafshil. Shehisha b'shoigig mutar lo lechlo. You're allowed to eat it. Why? She'asur l'sanas b'Shabbos. So Reish and Gimel we're talking about only in the case we have other food to eat. If you have no other food to eat, you're allowed to take it down also for the same reason. But bread, okay, but truth is bread is different than a regular tafshil, because bread, even though you have something else to eat, you're still allowed to take down the bread because you have to wash for Suda Shabbos. But for Lechem Mishnah, we're not going to let you take down extra bread.
Right.
That means to eat bread, even though you have other food in the house, we'll let you eat it, because you have to wash for Suda Shabbos. But for Lechem Mishnah, we're not going to let you take it down.
No, so if this bread was your Lechem Mishnah, but you have other bread that
you're not allowed to take it down.
You have to just eat the cut.
Yeah.
But once you're taking, you could take enough for Lechem Mishnah.
But 1 second.
No.
In other words, if you
you're only allowed to take it for you need for Shalosh Sudas. If it's big bread,
so how much? What you have to take a kabaya? How much you have to take?
No, you take it the whole loaf. You take it the whole loaf. Yeah, you have to cut it off. Yeah, you can take it, but we can't take over a second loaf. You take over one loaf, it's enough for 3 sudas, and I'll take over a second loaf. You don't have to cut the loaf in half and take over exact how much for 3 sudas. You can take off 1 loaf of bread, you'll have to take off the oven. But if that loaf is enough for 3 sudas,
one loaf.
Well, you've blown Lechem Mishnah, but you haven't Lechem.
Yeah, you have enough bread for 3 sudas, that's good enough.
So how do you compare again, going back to the tafshil? By the past, the problem taking down the bread is that there's an Issa D'Rabbanan.
That's something else. We'll get there in a second.
Right, but that's the reason why perhaps you're not allowed.
No, we'll get to that in a second. I didn't touch that yet. Abadafka didn't get into that yet.
Okay.
The Issa D'Rabbanan, take off the bread, we'll get to in a second. Now we're just talking about, let's say you can take it off. Let's say it comes down. Let's say you get it out. But still also to eat it. Because you left it there, you're shoya b'shoigig.
Right.
So even if that is the difference between bread and tafshil. Bread you're allowed to take down, you're allowed to eat it, and tafshil you're not allowed to eat it. Right?
Although bread
has a special status of Ridas Hapas, but the whole...
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. I didn't touch Ridas Hapas yet. I didn't even touch the fact that bread you're not take it out of the oven because it is a D'Rabbanan to take it out. We'll get to that in a second. Now we're just talking about the Isser, you're not allowed to use it because you left it there b'shoigig with an Isser Shehiyah.
Right. No, but it just goes almost the opposite logic. In other words, even
bread is
though
worse.
You have, even though you have
correct.
Isser D'Rabbanan,
correct.
You're still allowing,
right.
but you're not allowing the tafshil.
Right, correct.
Now,
that's right.
What about b'mezi? You're not even allowed to eat it after Shabbos?
No, b'mezi you're allowed to eat after Shabbos.
Even afterwards?
Yeah, b'mezi you're allowed to eat after Shabbos.
Yes. You have to wait enough.
You're allowed. You have to wait enough time that it will bake after Shabbos.
And b'shogeg you don't have to wait that amount of time?
It's a machlokes in Reish and Gimel. Yeah, you have to wait that amount. But that's after Shabbos. On Shabbos
you can't eat it.
B'mezi and b'shoigig also you can't. Bread is different.
Oh, just for bread, not
just for bread it's different. So again, v'nosman et samach l'chashecha v'lekanu paneim v'b'mezi also on Shabbos b'chtei sheyasu v'b'shoigig im ein le ma yoichel mutar lo l'irdas men mazon shalosh sudas. He's allowed to take down food for 3 sudas for himself. V'ayim l'acheirim, he can tell other people she'ein lehem ma yoichlu, they don't have what to eat. Bo u'redu lechem mazon shalosh sudas. Come take down food for 3 sudas. That means he knows his bread's going to stay in the oven. It's going to burn, it's going to get ruined. That's other people you also. If you don't have what to eat, come to my oven and take down more bread if you want. But when he takes it down, lo yirde b'marde. When you take the bread off, so now like I said before, in those days, they stuck the lafras onto the side of the oven. And we all know that if we try doing it, we're not going to be very much liach. You have to know how to do it. You go into Israel, you see these guys doing it, they're b'kiyim. But it's a malacha, they know how to do it. So you're going to try to do it, it's not going to work, it's a chachma to put it on, take it off. So the Gemara says it's asam midrabanan mishum shvus. It's asam, it's an issa d'rabanan to take off bread on Shabbos. So you give it anything else, you put it on the head even.
With the kli. With the
marda, yeah. It's also to take off the bread on Shabbos, because taking off the bread on Shabbos is a malacha. You have to know what you're doing. So it's a malacha, so therefore just taking the bread out of the oven, even let's say the bread was fully cooked before Shabbos, taking it down on Shabbos is a problem, is an issa d'rabanan. So therefore, right there, when he takes it down, lo yid b'marda, what's the marda? It says, rachas, it's I forgot how they call it in English.
We had it already before. We learned it. You can use the marda even of a goy.
Right. I forgot then we had an English translation for it.
A rolling pin?
Not a rolling pin.
Pizza.
Yeah, I just didn't have the pizza ovens.
The big
or matzah ovens. So those, that's a marda.
large spatula.
Yeah. So you can't take it out. Yeah, where was that?
Where was that? Yeah, we were discussing this morning.
It's in the Kuf.
That's hella or something like that.
I thought it was in Basab Cholo.
No, it's not. I think it's in Teruvas.
It is in Teruvas?
I think so, yeah.
Well, it's in the halacha that you're allowed to use a goyz.
Yeah, marda.
Same thing with spices. It's in that same sin.
Yeah, I think it's in Kovzak. I can't remember. We'll get there eventually. Ella Besakin, you take it down with a knife. A knife is not the regular way. So since it's not the regular way, we'll let you do that on Shabbos. Anything like a knife, don't do it the way you do it during the week. If you can't do it with a knife, with a different way, then you can take it down with a regular marda. So this is all if you put it there, be'isser. We get to the next part of the Mechaber we do better. Let's see the Magen Avram first. The left of the middle of the Magen Avram 10 Zion. We left it by Poshet. This time we said you need krimas panim. Poshet the chol film nosan chai samach lechashecha aser. Even if you put a raw samach lechashecha, it's aser. The memahel is bashel because it cooks quickly. Kamashkatz of simin zeh. Upashet. Same thing as Pasha, the Bekira group of Ketuma, if the oven is gar for Katim, Hakol Shari, which cuts the Meishna Gimel. Since it's gar for Katim, then everything is mutter. Because you don't even need Makal Ben Derasai. What is gar for Katim? Everything is mutter. Ve'ugai mine batek sha'ifin b'kadeira dinan kipas, v'vach enam u'molayim. If you cook something in a kadeira, an uga, or a batek, which is a dough, these things, when does it come? Michel ben Derasai, the same thing as a pas, that once it's karmel panel, once it gets crusted, is a din like Michel ben Derasai. Fine, Yud Zayin, b'shegig. Now, says the Magen Avram, hot like a tzin gam b'shegig, mashkat sivches. This is story in the Mishnah Brura. Shani hacha kivin de ein loy ma yochel shari. Since he doesn't have what to eat, therefore it's mutter. The imkain, afilu b'tanurim shalanu, aser yeser megimul seudas. What he means is, tanurim shalanu, we'll see soon in Siv Zion, our ovens, means today, our ovens, there's no redia. Our oven, there's no problem of getting it out of the oven. Like today, you're allowed to pull a bread out of the oven because it's not stuck onto the side of the wall. There's no issa shvus to take it out. So in our ovens, says the Magen Avram, also will be also to eat more than Mazen Gimel Seudas. Why? Because the whole heter here is what? Ein le ma yochel. This has nothing to do with Redia, says the Magen Avram. The fact that you have to, in order to take it out, you have to do Redia, has nothing to do with this Isser. This Isser is the same Isser as in the Reish and Gimel, that you're not allowed to take it, you're not allowed to eat from something that was you were over on Shehiyah. That's what the Magen Avram is saying over here. So therefore, even in our ovens, if you put it in B'Shaygig, and it wasn't Michel ben Derasai yet, it wasn't Krimas Panim, you're not allowed to eat more than Gimel Seudas. Ubach Kof Savatam, a different reason. People don't put bread. The Bach has a whole new heter. We don't pass like the Bach. The Bach's heter is that bread is different than every other tafshil. Not like we said till now. Till now we said bread and the regular tafshil all the same thing. But bread, usually, you need it for the Shabbos. A tafshil not. Says the Bach, is not the reason why. The Bach says bread, there was no isser at all, even less than machal ben the. There's no shem yechata on bread. Why? No one ever put bread in the oven close to dark. Because warm bread is not good. Which you know it's not that way today. If so, according to the Bach, the whole problem over here, according to the Bach, is a problem of radia, taking it down. It's mutter in our oven more than gimel sudis. Says the Mogen Avram, machmir like the mechaber. Ta'kasa Mishnah kasa b'shem ramach. Tehechad the nefa be'isser when it's cooked be'isser b'chol inyan aser. Ve'im kain dailon l'haka b'mazon gimel sudis. So the Bach brings down a whole different reason why pas is mutter. He says pas is different than tafshil. We don't pass like the Bach, and we hold that pas and tafshil are the same thing. The only reason why pas is better is because pas is usually you need it for the Suda Shabbos. That's the only difference.
I don't really understand. So the Bach would say it's mutter all the time because it's lo shchiyah.
Right. The Bach said we never asked shchiyah on bread.
Because it wasn't, never did it.
Because no one ever put bread.
No reason to make it.
No ever made sure the bread was cooled down already, right, before Shabbos came in. Because you wanted to have cold bread. No one wanted hot bread in those days, I guess. It's like fish, right? You make sure that the gefilte fish is made either Friday morning or Thursday night, because you don't want to have hot gefilte fish Friday night, right? So you never find somebody having gefilte fish in the oven. I asked maybe some people, yeah, I don't know. but usually gefilte fish you don't like hot, you like it cold. So everyone makes sure the fish is made either Friday morning or Thursday night, whatever it is. The same thing was with bread in those days. The bread, there was never a problem that you can leave it in the oven Friday night, because bread you always wanted it after it was cooled down. I guess it doesn't apply to today.
So lo shchiach is the basis for saying that they weren't gozer.
They were never gozer on bread. On bread they never made the gzeira of shem yechata. Bread you could do whatever you want with. They never made a gzeira on it. But we don't pass like that, Bach.
The machaber, even the machaber doesn't go like that.
Yeah. The machaber doesn't go right. The machaber does not go with it. For sure not. The machaber has a different reason. Yeah. The Bach argues in the machaber. Okay, Sif kan je ches aser. Oh, sorry, it's weiter. Fine. Says the mechaber weiter.
Sorry, Lana. Like as an example, if now someone had a question of bread and things like that, can you say, okay, so now there's a shita of heter in this Bach. Like how like just what kind of flexibility do you have? Would you say here you have a Bach that says there's no worry on bread, so with you would say mutter even when if you have what to eat.
So we don't do that because it's only the Rishonim we find it. The shittas of Rishonim that are Michel, that will be Michel. The Beiseisif won't be Michel because the shittas are Bach. They're contemporaries. Anytime we found till now.
Well, we found the Rum was matir or something because of the Bach.
No. Because the Bach was a Rashba.
It was actually Ravashi.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at the Bach,
it's Ravashi.
It was Ravashi.
The Bach is what it says it.
The Bach brings it down, but
it's quoting the Bach. The Bach is a pass like Ravashi. This material says is the Bach. The Bach is saying that because of Ravashi. Yeah.
So if you have, say,
if you pass like a Shlomo Zalman, and then you have a Yashav as Michel, I don't know if you would say that.
Right.
Because then everything could become what
the idea of having a pot and say a tavshil that are both b'shogeg. right? There's no hierarchy of saying it's better to have pot than the tafshil.
Not that I know of.
That's what you were getting at, no?
Yeah, but on almost everything, probably there is
Yeah,
probably
we don't find that. We find the Rishonim. No, we find only that you can make up the Rishonim and make on this case. Okay, says the Mechaber weiter. If you put it in beheter, the person put it in beheter kadesh yikrimu paneha, kiven le'avad isura, since he didn't do be'isur, v'tzerich Shabbosu, and tzerich Shabbos, roide kedarkoi, he can take it off kedarkoi, regular redia, without a problem. So here you don't have to make the shinui. B'shoigig, you have to take it down with the shinui. If you did it beheter, then you don't have to take it off with the shinui. Anything you don't need for today is also even with the shinui. Why? Here is a problem because of Radiyah. Anything you don't need for Shabbos, you're not allowed to take it down because there's an issue Radiyah. You're supposed to now take food out of the oven if it's a malacha. That's why you can't take it off. So you did everything beheter, you're allowed to take off whatever you need for Shabbos. But whatever you don't need for Shabbos, you're not allowed to take down. Said the Baruch Rav Aser, afilu b'shinui, b'shemediyah shvusi. Radiyah, taking it off is a shvus. And we're not makel with the Radiyah, even if it was done beheter. Hagar, l'chol zeh b'tan she'en toich b'tit. This is the Ramah Shita, that once you have toich b'tit, everything is mutter. Aval im hu toich b'tit, or she'eine oifel l'tzorech Shabbos, rak l'moter Shabbos, then everything is mutter. So it's like this. Here we're not going to Semicha. So the Ramah is bringing two atayim over here. One heter we had before, toich b'tit, which is you seal the oven, sarik. Everyone agrees is mutter. Everyone agrees is mutter. Then the Ramah brings another heter that if you put it in for mutter Shabbos, it's also mutter. Which here, there's a little bit of a problem. We know if you put something in the oven to cook for Matzah Shabbos, it's also not Matzah. So let's see what the Magen Avraham explains this. You test, Taich Batit, L'Arab Es Yesif Osir, V'Shakosef Sif Aleph. Ta'achal HaShaykh Seis Kasha. Right? According to the Mechaber, Taich Batit by itself is not enough. You have to have Zika. Here you don't have Zika.
Because it doesn't make it worse?
It doesn't make it worse. So here you don't have Zika, so according to the Mechaber, you won't have the heter of the Ramah of Toich Batit. Siv Kot L'Chaf, Rak L'Mot Shabbos, Pirish. Sheyesh L'Mozan Gimel Sudis, he has what to eat. V'im Kain, also L'Irdoisai. You're not allowed to take down the bread. So here you have a heter now. Here when I put it in for Matzah Shabbos, it's mutter, even though it's not cooked at all yet. Why is it mutter? Because you're not allowed to take it down on Shabbos. So you're not going to take it off on Shabbos. Something that's mahar liz bashel, to cook quickly, and then you use it for Friday night. There is an interest in mechata, because you may take it. You want it for Friday. You may just change your mind and want it for Friday night. But something that you're not allowed to take it out of the oven anyway for a different reason. So there, if you put it erev Shabbos for Matzah Shabbos, it's mutter.
But the whole issue here is you can take it down. You don't have to wait b'chtei shiyasu after Shabbos.
No, you're allowed to put it in erev Shabbos.
We were just wondering about that. Are you allowed to put in something on erev Shabbos? You're a baker and you want to have you're baking for Sunday. So you put
it's also.
And you're not going to touch it. You're putting.
No, it's the same. It's also. You're not allowed to do that.
Because
if it's ready for Friday night, if it could be ready for Friday night.
No, it can't.
No, that's mutter. That's keduchaisa. Even for Shabbos morning, it's fine. Slack and ready for Shabbos morning, it's also fine.
If you put it in Friday and you don't need it till Motzei Shabbos.
But if it's possible for it to be ready Friday night, then you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. That's sifches.
No, you're talking about the chol. You know, when you put the chol, it's ready, but you're going to eat Sunday.
You're not allowed. That's sifches. We'll see sifches. You're not allowed to put something in the oven which could be ready for Friday night, even though you're putting it in for Matzah Shabbos.
Why?
Because you may change your mind.
Okay.
And maybe mechata b'gecholim.
But according to the Ramah, you could be toch betit, and that would be enough.
Yeah, toich batit enough.
And if if it sure can't be ready, then you're allowed to?
Then you're allowed to.
You know, you need a chana or anything?
No, for Erev Shabbos?
What if Erev Shabbos is a Yom Tov?
Then sure you can't. You're allowed to put something in Friday. If it takes 24 hours for it to cook,
Yeah.
you're allowed to put it in Friday for Motzei Shabbos. No problem. No problem.
And if it's ready on Yom Tov?
If it's ready for if it's ready for Friday night, then it's a different problem.
No, but let's say it's not ready.
So if it's ready Friday night, then it's mutter.
Motzei Shabbos.
No, that's also.
No, it's also.
If it's ready for Friday night, then it's also Semicha b'gecholim.
You might change your mind.
You may change your mind. If you're talking about you put it in Chai, it's Mimarles Bashal. Then you may change your mind and use it for Friday night.
But if it's not going to be ready until Motzei Shabbos, and Motzei Shabbos is a Yom Tov.
And what's Friday?
You are allowed to eat
Friday's
Friday night.
Yeah, that's mutter. Sure, it's mutter.
But don't you have a heter of Kiddush?
Kiddush Chai is only a heter if it's not possible for the food to be ready till Shabbos morning. That's the heter of Kiddush Chai. If it's possible for the food to be ready Friday night, there's no heter of Kiddush Chai. Even if you have a mind for Motzei Shabbos, because you may change your mind, and then be mechata b'gecholim.
Right. So Kiddush Chai. We discussed once. The problem is that our ovens today, this Kiddush Chai still apply.
Right. Because our oven, everything is ready in a couple hours.
Right.
That's the problem.
You may not have the heter.
You may not have the Kiddush Chai at all.
At all.
So the question is, why over here, if you're putting in the bread for Motzei Shabbos, why is it mutter? So says the Ramah, here it's mutter. You're not allowed to take it down, b'Shabbos, rak l'Motzei Shabbos, u'lechein shari. And therefore it's mutter to put it in for Motzei Shabbos, because you have an issur to take it down on Shabbos. So we're not chosh Hashem yichata, because anyway you're not going to take it down on Shabbos. Ve'im came with tanurim shalanu, in our ovens, where there's no issur redia, also, Afa pishu oifel and Motzei Shabbos, even though he's baking it for Motzei Shabbos, ki heichi da asrinan v'chol ha-tavshilin v'la mechalkin ben roitzin the Shabbos and the Motzei Shabbos. We're not questioning whether you want it for Shabbos or Motzei Shabbos, because rinan shemi yimolech lo eichla b'Shabbos. So change your mind to eat on Shabbos v'yichata. Hua din pas, the same thing as pas, v'ayin tzimation zayin sivalaf ha'agah, the same halacha, it's something that could be ready on Shabbos, we always answer it, even though you have in mind that it should be for Motzei Shabbos. Here is a different heter because anyway it's also to take down the pas on Shabbos, and I'll take down the bread on Shabbos because of an issur redia.
It's interesting that the Magen Avraham says it's because of it's a Shavuos. In the Mishnah Berurah says it's not even a Shavuos.
What's that even a Shavuos redia?
Yeah.
Doesn't the Mishnah say that?
Seems like it's a lower level.
Okay. It's a lower level of a Shavuos, that's correct.
I don't know if that makes any difference.
No. Okay, do we go back there or do we stop here?
1 hour.
Not 1 hour yet.
Big one? No, Rav is the small one.
A small one. Should we do Vav and stop by Zion?
Yeah.
No, let's stop here already. I think we have enough information for 1 week.